Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, as we take a look overhead at Charleston, South Carolina, and start to bring you now inside Fort Moultrie Memorial Stadium here in a moment. We welcome you to continuing coverage of Week 6 action and this exciting matchup between the undefeated Baltimore Vultures and the 2-2 Charleston Predators. I'm Nate Hall, and alongside me in the booth for today's game is none other than Alden Bleeker. And Alden, both these teams coming off of wins last week, what are some of the keys you'll be looking for in today's game for both of these teams?
Well, the SFL commissioner, Cam Irvine, brought up an interesting point last week that Baltimore almost seemed to be bored with winning all the time. Well, this game, I feel like, could possibly very well be a wake-up call. You know, Charleston 2-2, but they are no slouch, plenty of talent, and for Charleston, they're going to be coming into this game looking for a win at all costs because that would turn their whole season around.
Absolutely, Charleston, one of their biggest targets, halfback Keith Swearingen. Had they been utilizing him a lot all season long, and they'll be looking to get him going early and often in this ball game as we get through the coin toss and get set for kickoff here shortly. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Justin Reeside and Ron Haynes for providing the stats for today's matchup as we get you set here for kickoff live here from Charleston. And it looks like we've got Charleston with the ball on the tee. So Baltimore will get their first opportunity on offense first. An offense that thrives themselves on being balanced on both sides of the ball when they have possession. Kicker Brad Bretchett kicks this one away, and we're off. Return from the goal line, right up the middle. Off to the left now, and brings this one up to the 28-yard line, and that is where we'll see Jack Wigmore and company start this first drive on offense.
Yeah, and you know, speak of a balanced offense, there are so many options for Jack Wigmore and company, you know, and Warren Murray is arguably one of the more dangerous halfbacks in the league to boot.
As they Baltimore comes out in a heavy set, they hand the ball right off to T-Roy Gaines for the first play. Gets a nice gain right up the middle for a gain of 7 yards on the play. And let's introduce you really quickly to this Baltimore offense. Jack Wigmore is the quarterback. Warren Murray, the halfback. T-Roy Gaines, as you saw, the fullback. The wide receivers are Ivory Irvin, Daley Holder, and Mac Chima. And tight ends are DJ Bandit and Lloyd Graham Jr. Pro set here now for Baltimore on 2nd and 3. Hands the ball off to Warren Murray this time, and nowhere to go. Gets back just to the line of scrimmage before he's brought down by number 55, Kevin Brackett.
Well, and one of the things that really makes Baltimore's offense so unique is that they run that dual back system where T-Roy Gaines and Warren Murray both have equal importance. That's really not something that you see on many teams in the SFL.
3rd and 3 now from the 35-yard line. Big hole right up the left side. Spin move, left side, all the way down to the 30, 25, 20. 1 man to beat. 10, 5. They will not bring him down. Touchdown. Warren Murray goes 65 yards for the score to get Baltimore started early.
Wow, and that comes just as we were talking about the dual back system, and that is really how they've been able to make it work so effectively. T-Roy Gaines fights down into the trenches, gets the first downs, gets the scrappy yardage, and it sets up Warren Murray on the outside, and he gets some good blocks. He just gets down onto the sideline there, and there is no one in his way. That is really perhaps one of the best demonstrations of Baltimore's system that we'll see all game.
So we'll see Charleston working from behind early in this ball game as kicker Shark Tarkington comes on to attempt the extra point. It only took Baltimore a little over a minute to score that touchdown as the kick is up and through, giving Baltimore the early 7-0 advantage in this one. And the ball now on the tee. Shark Talkington set to kick this one away, and Charleston will get their first crack at it on offense. As the kick is away, brought up from about the 2-yard line. This one is returned right at the middle and down at about the 25-yard line, and we'll see Kentez Johnson coming out, leading the offense for Charleston for their first possession of this ball game.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, and this is the first opportunity for Kentez Johnson and company to do their thing. Keith Swearingen, one of perhaps the best receiving halfbacks in the game right now.
But he'll get the handoff here on first down, and he'll get a gain of 1 yard off to the left of tackle to bring up 2nd and 9 coming up on their next play. And we'll introduce you really quickly to the Charleston offense. Kentez Johnson is the quarterback. Keith Swearingen is the halfback. Terrell Sutherland at fullback. Wide receivers are Christopher Ochoa, Saren Storm, and Davius Reed. Tight end is Dusty Rourke. Their offensive linemen are left guard Dusty Wilson and right guard Damian Robichaud. Kentez Johnson will come out in the gun here on 2nd and 9. Back to throw. Plenty of time. Short throw off to the left. Spin move. Nice gain right at the left side. And that'll be a gain of about 8 yards before he's brought down. They'll bring up a 3rd and 1 as he gets that pass out to Keith Swearingen out to the left.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Keith Swearingen, really one of the things that makes him so effective as a receiving halfback is his ability to find space seemingly where there is none. And we saw him create space with that spin move there.
Early 3rd down here for Charleston to come out in the heavy set. Hand the ball off to Keith Swearingen. Big hole right up the middle, and he'll get the first down that he needs. And then some up to about the 38-yard line for a nice 4-yard gain.
Yeah, well, a much more traditional running system for Charleston than the two-back system that Baltimore run, but having a halfback and a fullback that can just dive for that extra yard on 3rd down, that helps a lot.
1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Johnson back to throw. Deep over the left side. That's going to be batted away and incomplete. Number 48, I believe that was Elijah Warfield on the pass deflection. Gets his hand on that one to bat it away.
Yeah, and that is a great job by Elijah Warfield to outrun the route. You saw there that it was I believe Ivory Irvin running that route, and he just out positions him using his speed. A great defensive play there.
Davius Reed on that intended reception on 1st down. Now they'll go to a 2nd and 10. Weak set with 2 wide off to the right. Hands the ball off to Keith Swearingen. Big hole right off the left side. And gets a good 9 yards before he's tackled right there at the 47-yard line. I think if he bounced that one further out to the outside, he may still be running, but nonetheless, a nice gain of 9 yards there on that play.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you saw that he had that wide block down the field, a great job following his block, but that block being just shed at the end there, that was one of the big boys up front just shedding the block. A great job on defense by Baltimore there.
3rd and 1 coming up here. They had a 3rd and 1 before and converted. Let's see what they do here from the 47-yard line. Hands the ball off again like they did last time. Another big run, this time off to the right. Hands the ball off to Keith Swearingen, gets another 1st down. A nice gain of about 2. They only needed 1 and gets another 1st down.
Well, just as much as we saw a demonstration of Baltimore and why they have the two-back system that they do, we're seeing really Keith Swearingen how versatile of an option he is for this offense.
1st and 10 from the Baltimore 49-yard line. Back in the gun is Johnson. Plenty of time. Now he runs out of it. He's going to go down for a big sack. Gets whipped around very ferociously by Big Al Walker, the defensive end, and is going to be a big loss on the play.
Yeah, and oh man, Al Walker just blowing through the coverage. That is scary when you have a 300-pound lineman coming at you like a train on a track.
2nd and 17 after that 7-yard loss on the sack from the 44-yard line for Charleston. You wonder if they go back to the run here after that big hit that Johnson took. They will go through it. He'll go ahead and throw on 2nd and long. Deep throw over the middle. And that's going to be caught. Another 1st down catch, this time to their tight end, Dusty Rourke, the only female on this squad, but she makes a spectacular catch over the middle for a major 1st down deep in Baltimore territory.
Yeah, and that looked like that was what, double or almost triple coverage. Just a great job of finding her spot and realizing that she can just play a little bit of tall ball, get up into the air and grab that one.
First and 10 from the 30-yard line. Charleston moving this ball on their first drive of the ball game. Another pass over the middle, and this one's going to be incomplete. And it looks like number 41 for Baltimore got his hands in there and knocked that one away. Giovanni Bolt there on the coverage.
Yeah, and that's another, we talk about playing the ball versus playing the receiver. That was an instance of playing the receiver, just figuring out where the route is going to go and smothering it, preventing the catch from happening.
Second and 10 from the 30-yard line. High set this time. Hands the ball off to Swearingen right at the middle.
Ooh.
And tries to break a tackle off that left side, but cannot get out of the grasp of number 68. That is going to be the backup defensive end, Dennis Isaac, on the tackle, and that's going to be a gain of 3 yards.
Yeah, and you have to give a lot of credit to Keith Swearingen, showing some toughness there, just staying up as long as he did.
Third and 7 from the 26-yard line. Back in the gun is Johnson. Plenty of time to throw. Deep throw over the middle, and that's going to be picked off in the end zone. He's got a room to run on the run back, and he's going to go up to the 16-yard line on the return after the interception, and that is 36 for Baltimore. That is Troy Loshaw with the interception to kill that drive for Charleston.
Oh man, and Troy Loshaw, well, we saw just the opposite. We saw a great play being made. That was an instance of playing the defender. He just plays the ball there, reads the eyes all the way of Kentez Johnson, and he places that ball where it's going to be before I think even Kentez Johnson does.
As Baltimore takes over now on first down from this 15-yard line. Looks like they will throw, and they will. Back to throw is Wigmore. He has his receiver, T-Roy Gaines, off to the left side and gets 6 yards on the play.
Yeah, and we talk about this dual back system, but not only do they have two good running backs, essentially they have two good receiving backs.
Second and 4 now. Heavy set with the weak guy behind Wigmore. Hands the ball off to Warren Murray. Gets 2 yards on the play before he's tackled, but still a 3rd and 2 coming up. It's going to be a big play for Charleston's defense.
Yeah, this would be huge for Charleston to get a stop here. I mean, they've done a good job just to get it to third down with how much Baltimore's offense was clicking on that first drive.
Heavy set now with split backs in the backfield for Baltimore. I would look for them to hand it off to either T-Roy Gaines or Warren Murray for sure here. Plenty of men in the box, but it doesn't matter. Hands the ball off to T-Roy Gaines. He gets a big hole up the middle, all the way up to the 30-yard line. That's going to be a first down for Baltimore.
Yeah, he had plenty of space up the middle there. They were playing back into coverage, were Charleston, so just exploiting the space that he had, like we always say.
Baltimore with the 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. Back to throw, Wigmore. That's going to be thrown over the middle, intended for number 88, Mac Chima, but number 28 for Charleston was having none of it. John Semengo with the pass deflection.
Yeah, he did a great job to get a hand on it. That was, you almost feel like that was going the other way for a second.
He did have a hand on it. You would kind of thought he might have had the interception, but not to be. Wigmore and company dodged a bullet there on that first down play. Bring up to 2nd and 10 now. Wigmore back in the gun with 4 wide. Back to throws. Wigmore screens it out to Warren Murray. Spin move. Ooh. And he gets a nice 7-yard gain before he's absolutely popped over there by one of those Charleston defenders, but it still gets a good 70 yards to bring up to 3rd and 3.
Yeah, and we're seeing more and more of those design screenplays making their way into the SFL coaches' playbooks, but oh man, just the speed of Warren Murray makes it so viable.
Back to throw is Wigmore deep over the right, deep over the middle, I should say. Intended for 83, the tight end, Lloyd Graham Jr., but he couldn't keep his hands on that one. And a nice defensive play made there by Charleston secondary, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, a lot of confidence being shown by Jack Wigmore in the Baltimore offense, and that's the positive takeaway from this drive, I think, for them. But this is just a really scrappy play by Charleston to get the ball back, and they're gonna start in decent field position here.
They should be in good shape indeed for Charleston's offense. The punter for Baltimore, Matty Coppins, gets this one away without much pressure, and the returnman for Charleston, that's Saren Storr, and gets this return up to the 32-yard line. So not too shabby for Johnson to start this next possession for the offense.
Yeah, that the very first drive for Baltimore, a 65-yard touchdown rush on 3 plays. Baltimore takes seven plays to get the ball back there, but they're fighting back now here.
Back to throw is Johnson, streams it out to Swearing, and plenty of room to run, and gets all the way up to the 40-yard line, they'll say, and gets a nice 8-yard gain before he's tackled off that left-hand side.
And there you see again these designed plays that get these halfbacks and in the case of Baltimore, fullbacks out in space already. And when you have a back that's either fast or powerful, or in many cases both, they can just use that space to get further and further down the field as the game goes on, and the people covering them get more and more tired.
2nd and 2 now from the 40-yard line. Hands the ball off to Swearing, and he's got a hole up on that right side. Looked like he had a hole there for a second, but that defense for Baltimore is so quick, they closed on him before he could get too far. 3rd and inches coming up as that big defensive tackle, Nate Brown, comes in to stop him before the sticks.
Yeah, and oh man, there was space to run that up the middle that just disappeared. Great reaction.
And that run is going nowhere quick. That's going to be a major 5-yard loss on that play. Nate Brown was in there. Al Walker was in there for a big tackle for loss. That's bringing up 4th down now for Charleston.
And really, that's, I think, the story so far of this Baltimore defense. You have Al Walker and the rest of these frontline defenders that are really just having their way with this Charleston run game.
That punt is away by Charleston, returned on that right-hand side. Nice return that is had over to that right-hand side by Ivory Urban. And the Baltimore Vultures will start their next possession from the 29-yard line. And while the offense gets their offense going for their next possession, and you're wondering what you're watching, if you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. As that run by Warren Murray goes for 2 yards to bring it up to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, both of these teams have had a little bit of trouble running, surprisingly, in this first quarter anyway. You know, after that first big touchdown by Baltimore, we really haven't seen any big runs be busted off.
2nd and 9 now coming up for Baltimore. Handed the ball off to T-Roy Gaines. He's going to lose about 2 or 3 yards on that one. Bring up a 3rd and 11 on this next play. Charleston's defense comes up big on that one, as that is number 48, outside linebacker Eric Hammer. And I think that's a good way to segue into introducing this Charleston's defense. Thomas Matthews, John Lawley, Maul Rivers, and Robert Cherry, the defensive tackles. Nate Singletary, Kevin Brackett, Jack Brown, Eric Hammer, the linebackers. Jacob Clear, Mark Martin, Sam Blotner are the corners, and Rick Thornton and John Semengo are your safeties. And look out deep. That's a big throw over to the right-hand side, and that's going to go all the way for 6 points. Baltimore gets a touchdown. A deep throw by Jack Wigmore over to Mac Chima, and Baltimore goes up by 2 scores.
My goodness. I mean, we've been talking about how Baltimore have been struggling a bit to run, but when you pass like that, who needs to run? I mean, just two of the most explosive touchdowns that I think you'll see all season: a 65-yard rushing touchdown on their first drive of the game, a 72-yard three-play touchdown drive. Baltimore aren't interested in marching; they are interested in destroying and conquering this field.
Shark Tarkington on for the extra point now, and that's going to be up and through the uprights for a 14-0 early lead here late stages of the first quarter. And we've seen Baltimore, once they get these kinds of leads, we saw it last week over Seattle. Once they get these early leads in ball games, it's hard to come back if you don't get quick answers, and Charleston needs to come away with the answer here soon. As this kick is away now by Shark Tarkington and returned from about the 2-yard line, and gets a little bit of space off that right-hand side, but gets brought down at about the 26-yard line, and that is where Kentez Johnson will bring the troops out one more time here in the first quarter.
Yeah, and it's as you say, really, Baltimore are one of those teams that have sort of a Rolling Stone mentality where they're not content to be up by 14. They're not content to be up by 21 or 28. They just keep moving and keep scoring.
1st and 10 from the 26. Deep throw to the left side, and that's going to be picked off on the first play of the drive. That one's going to be picked off by number 48, Elijah Warfield, and the ball goes right back to Baltimore's offense.
Well, we were just talking about how Baltimore, how Charleston need to do something to catch up with Baltimore, and that is not going to help. I mean, a turnover in a very opportune place of the field for Baltimore.
And Charleston's coaching staff is going to be asking their defense for a big stop now to avoid going down 3 scores now here early or late stages here in the first quarter. Throw here by Wigmore, finds his receiver over the middle for a gain of 8 yards, and that's going to be Daley Holder with the reception.
And just a great pitch and catch. We've seen Baltimore really having a lot of explosiveness on offense, but sometimes just those simple pitch and catch plays are working out for them as well.
2nd and 2, hand this ball off. Oh, and what a hit! Ooh. What a hit by the defender there, number 48. Eric Hammer lays the wood on the running back Warren Murray, and that's going to do it, I believe, here for the first quarter, and it will. That is how the first quarter will end here from Charleston, South Carolina, with the score Baltimore 14, Charleston 0. Baltimore looking to score again after the turnover, but we'll be right back here on Twitch. Don't go anywhere. Nate Hall alongside Autumn Bleeker here for the second quarter from Charleston, South Carolina. Baltimore has a 3rd and 1 from the 36-yard line. Hands the ball to T-Roy Gaines. Little sidestep move. Gets enough for the first down all the way down the 32-yard line to move the sticks.
Yeah, and that is very big for Baltimore. I mean, Charleston have looked quite promising on defense. They've done a great job stopping the run game.
Another handoff to Warren Murray. Big hole right up the middle, and that's not going to help Charleston at all as Warren Murray rips off a gain of 8 to 9 yards on that play and gets all the way down the 23-yard line.
And it's as we were discussing before this game, Charleston has a lot of strength on defense. They can stop the run, and they have a very respectable secondary. It almost seems like they want to stop the run game and force Baltimore to challenge their secondary.
The handoff this time by T-Roy Gaines goes nowhere. Charleston's defense was ready for that one. A nice loss on the play of 2 yards, as it looks like number 55, Kevin Brackett, was in there for the big tackle for loss, bring up 3rd down.
And it's another opportunity for Charleston to generate a stop.
3rd and 3. They come out with trips up to the left side of the formation, single back. Wigmore goes with the pass off to the right side. That was batted away by Mark Martin. It looked like had he held on to it, he could still be running and have the pick six, but not to be, as that's going to go for a pass deflection and a field goal attempt coming up now for Shark Tarkington.
Yeah, oh man, that was a great swap, something that was really good on defense that perhaps people didn't see. I didn't see the number on the shirt, but one of the members of the secondary waiting to tackle that receiver until the ball had already been swatted, avoiding defensive pass interference. Great defensive intelligence being displayed by Charleston there.
42-yard field goal attempt now by Shark Tarkington. The snap was bobbled but handled, and the kick is up and through by Tarkington, and that's going to be a 17-0 advantage now for Baltimore as they take a 3-possession lead here early in the second quarter.
Well, this is exactly what we said, right? That you need to keep up with Baltimore. They'll leave you in the dust, and that's exactly what Baltimore hoping to do here.
Tarkington with the ball on the tee, and the kick is away now. Returned from the about midway through the end zone. Deep kick by Tarkington, gets the return up the middle up to the 22-yard line, and that's where they'll start their next possession for Charleston. Esports TV has partnered with the SFL to bring sim football to millions of homes over the next 2 years. ESTV is the world's first 24/7 live, linear, and video on demand esports channel available everywhere through your smart TV, on your phone, through Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and more. Visit estv.co to learn more about its programming and to find all the ways you can catch the SFL action on the network. Back to throw is Johnson over the middle, and that's going to be a nice reception over the middle by Davius Reed. Davius Reed, the wide receiver coming over from LA Lycans in the offseason, makes a big reception there and a nice first down reception at that.
Well, listen, I am an offensive line player. I don't know much about playing quarterback other than how to protect them, but I really have to think that says a lot about Kentez Johnson's mentality, that he goes and gets intercepted and just comes back with a challenging throw there, really showing that he has recovered mentally.
And a nice spin move on the right-hand side by Swearingen, breaks a tackle, and he's going to keep running all the way down to about the 32-yard line. I'm sorry, the 39-yard line, that is. Swearingen, though, finding a lot of space over that right-hand side and then making something out of nothing, breaking a couple tackles along the way. Nice spin move right there to get a big gain.
Yeah, making chicken salad, as you say. That looked like multiple times that play was going to blow up, but it was that great pass by Kentez Johnson that set up that run, and a great job by Swearingen to get it down the field.
And Swearingen gets the pass this time from Johnson. This time he's going to get tackled after a gain of about 3 yards on the play. Tackled on the play by Devin King. Haven't got a chance to do so yet. Let's do so now. Introducing you to the Baltimore defense. Joe Duncan, Al Walker, Nate Brown, and Suron Yates the fourth along that defensive front. Frank Smith, Alvin Mack, and Devin King are the outer linebackers. Enzo Bolt, Marvin Himes, Ben Stackenpaper, and Elijah Warfield are corners. And Giovanni Bolt and Troy Loshaw are the safeties. As Swearingen again gets the reception, this time off to the right-hand side from Johnson. It gets another 3 yards, setting up third down.
Yeah, and this has really been sort of the problem for Charleston's offense, right? Is they're able to get yardage into third down, and then just Baltimore does a great job blowing up these third down plays. We'll have to see what they come up with here.
Handing the ball off to Swearingen, has a nice couple of blocks off the right-hand side, but gets swallowed up before he gets that first down marker. Swearingen about a yard short, bringing up a 4th and 1. But still inside field goal range at Baltimore's 30-yard line. You got to think they're going to bring out Brad Bretchett to try this field goal attempt.
Yeah, absolutely. But that is a devastating 4th and 1. I mean, they're going for it. I like this. I like this.
Absolutely. They're at home. They've got the crowd behind them. They've got a 4th and 1 from the 30. We'll see if they snap it. They've got 12 on the play clock. They are back in the gun. Is Johnson. I would say snap it, but we'll see. They have yet to do so, and they will call a timeout. They were just trying to get Baltimore to jump off sides, and I think they should have snapped it, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'm even of the mindset maybe that if you have predetermined that you're going to use a timeout, I would maybe even say throw the challenge flag. Was that actually 4th and 1? Because from our position up here in the booth, that actually looked pretty darn close.
Yeah, but nonetheless, it will bring up a 4th and 1 play from the 30-yard line. And now they will trot out Brad Brechet to attempt the 47-yard attempt from the right hash mark to try to get this back within a 2-score game at least for Charleston after having a nice drive stall out at the 30-yard line. The snap is down. Kick is up by Brechet. And no problem whatsoever. He nails that 47-yarder, and they both bring the score to 17-3. Baltimore with the advantage.
Well, I mean, they had to try, but that is just a great job. The kicker is sometimes a bit of a thankless job. You don't really notice them doing their job unless it's one of those clutch 3 points to send it to overtime or win the game situations. But just being there and being reliable can do so much. And now Shark Tarkington 12 for 12 on the season, so having a fantastic year.
As this return will be brought up from about the 2-yard line by Ivory Urban. And Baltimore will start from the 26 right there. The SFL has partnered with Rare Drop and Rare Drop Sports to advance live events and distribution. Live and in-person championship weekends, rookie drafts, and community events are in the works. Check out SFL games on their Twitch channel Friday through Sunday evenings, and follow Rare Drop Sports at twitch.tv/RD Sports. And Charleston will get a 5-yard penalty tacked onto their defense, and Baltimore will get a free 5 yards if they accept it, as that pass goes off to the left to Ivory Urban.
Well, I'd have to think they'd accept it for the free first down. I don't know. It depends on how much yardage they just picked up, I suppose.
They will. Baltimore's coaching staff will accept the penalty. It will bring up a 1st and 5. Looks like Robert Cherry, the defensive tackle, guilty of the infraction on the offsides.
Yeah, and like we say, the reason that you accept there is for the free play. Sometimes that's even more important than the yardage.
Now will be 1st and 5 from the 31-yard line for Baltimore. They hand the ball off to T-Roy Gaines, but nothing doing on that play. Charleston's defense was right there. Robert Cherry making amends for the previous infraction that he incurred for their defense, stopping T-Roy for no gain on that run.
Yeah, and that was what he was hoping to do on the first drive. So a bit of a missed time, but you really can't fault the effort.
2nd and 5 now for Baltimore. Hands the ball off this time to Warren Murray. A little stutter step, and a nice stutter step. Turns out to be a great move for Warren Murray as he gets 70 yards up to the 38-yard line to 1st down.
Well, that was a great job by Charleston to blow through the blocks on the front there, but unfortunately for Charleston, it was just on the wrong side. They needed it to be up the middle, but it was just the tackles on the outside there, or the guards on the outside there, and it leaves plenty of room up the middle for him to run, and that is a great play by Baltimore. Great play awareness on the run.
Heavy set eye now for Baltimore. He hands the ball off to Warren Murray. Big gain right up the middle, following his blockers all the way up to the 48-yard line, and even 10 yards and another 1st down.
Well, plays like this always make me happy as an offensive line player and coach. Just you see him following his block all the way up there, and that opens up even more space for him. I believe that was T-Roy Gaines that was throwing the block for him.
1st down now from the 48-yard line. 4 wide for Whitmore. Back to throw. Has the receiver off to the right and gets the Lloyd Graham Jr. gets the catch before he falls his way out of bounds.
Yeah, and just a little bit of pitch and catch. You know, a lot of the yards that we've seen for Baltimore have come very explosively. 93 yards on 4 attempts for Jack Wigmore. But again, having that pitch and catch in your repertoire just to pick up a few yards, that's very important as well, even when you're getting these long balls off.
2nd and 7. Wigmore back to throw.
Ooh.
Had a little pressure in his face, but still gets the pass off to I believe that was number 10. Yes, it was Ivory Urban with another reception. That one for a gain of about 6 and a 3rd-and-1 coming up.
Yeah, man, he was lucky to even get the ball off there, but he somehow heat seeked that way it heat seeked its way into the hands of maybe one of his most reliable receivers there. My goodness.
I figured this one was going to go to Warren Murray. A short yardage situation goes right up the middle, following his blockers for a 3-yard gain, and another first down to set up another set of downs for Baltimore.
And this is why the dual back system, you know, to go back to it really works wonders for Baltimore. You've got both of these. You've got TR Gaines who can run, but he's also great at throwing blocks, and we've seen him do both here today.
Handing the ball off to Warren Murray, has a nice little opening there on the left side, but that opening that he had there for a split second closed down very quickly as number 24 for Charleston, Ricky Thornton, came up from his free safety position and just bowled over Warren Murray.
Yeah, and it's like we say, Charleston really doing their best to control the run and forcing Baltimore to challenge their secondary. That seems to be the game plan defensively.
Wigmore deep over the left side, wide open, and that's going to be 6 more points for this Baltimore offense. Too easy. That is Wigmore to Ivory Urban once again, and Baltimore will get another touchdown added to their total as the Charleston defense was burned. Jacob Clear couldn't stick with the target, and that's going to be a touchdown for Baltimore.
Oh man, well, if the game plan going in from Charleston was to force Baltimore to challenge their secondary, Baltimore have shown no fear, and really with good reason. That is now either I believe that is the 2nd or 3rd touchdown pass by Jack Wigmore, and he has absolutely been able to sling the ball all day.
As the kick from Shark Tarkington is up and through, and Baltimore takes a 24-3 advantage with a little over 3 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. Taking a look at some of the stats now through this 1st quarter and a half, Wigmore, we just see, and thanks to Justin Reside and Ron Haynes on the stats team for these stats, Baltimore living off of these big plays. Warren Murray now 100 yards rushing on the day in the first half alone, 65 of those coming on that big run in the 1st quarter, as this return for Charleston is up to the 26-yard line, and Charleston's offense with Johnson and company and Swearingen will try to get something going here on this drive.
Well, let's just put in perspective how explosive Baltimore's day has been. That touchdown that we just saw was their first touchdown that was less than 60 yards, and it was still almost 40 yards. 39 yards was that pass. My goodness.
Back to throw is Johnson, deep over the middle. That's going to be caught all the way up to the Baltimore 45-yard line, and that is Davius Reed with the reception, and that'll flip the field position really quick for Charleston in their favor, as Johnson finds Davius Reed right over the middle for a big first down. Nice move right there over the middle for a nice gain.
Yeah, he left. I believe that was Giovanni. I believe that was Frank Smith that he just faked out of his cleats. My goodness.
1st and 10 now from the 46-yard line for Charleston. We need to get something going here before halftime. Johnson back to throw. Over to the right-hand side. Another completion, another first down. And that's going to be up to the Baltimore 26-yard line. And 2 plays, it's all it took. And they're already in business down the Baltimore 20-yard line as Troy Loshaw gets burned on that throw.
Well, that's what I like to call the sort of tall ball style. You know, it really helps as a quarterback when you have a receiver that you can just put downfield and put the ball up in the air and have a receiver go up and grab it. And that's exactly what we saw there.
Christopher Ochoa, the beneficiary of that last reception. Johnson's going to go for his third completion and as many attempts, and he's going to go deep over the left side and caught for the touchdown is Davius Reed. Second reception and as many attempts on this drive, and this one comes away with 6 points as he found himself wide open in that back left corner of the end zone, and they get their first touchdown in this ball game.
Well, we say all the time the any given Sunday mentality in the SFL, but my goodness, Charleston still have a bit of a hill to climb, but they are one step closer now, and they are one step closer than they were before, perhaps just as importantly.
Brad Bretchett now to attempt the extra point, and yes, to their point, they still do have a hill to climb, but this is definitely going to help the big MO as far as the momentum goes in this ball game. You got to think that may help as this game goes along, as that extra point is up and through, and Charleston now finds themselves down, but only by 2 scores now instead of 3, with just over 2 minutes to go here in the first half.
Yeah, it's a bit of an old cliche, but they say that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and that 20-yard touchdown by Charleston off the back of their field goal that they made previously, that's their first step on this journey back into this game.
As this return by Ivory Irvin is brought up from about the 2-yard line, and that return is going to go right up the middle to about the 28. And that is where Baltimore will begin this next possession. And you got to think with Baltimore up by 2 scores and Charleston now only down by 2 scores with over 2 minutes left here in the first half, you got to think Charleston's just looking to get a stop and try to get one more crack at it before the halftime break.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 for 1 is the mentality for Charleston on defense right now.
And Baltimore back to throw. Wigmore finds the receiver, Daley Holder, off that right-hand side for a 5-yard reception before he slides out of bounds.
Well, and the clock's not moving. That helps Charleston. They effectively are going to hope to be able to use the 2-minute warning as a 4th timeout, and maybe they get to use it as a timeout on 3rd or 4th down. That would be huge for them.
As we reach the 2-minute warning here in Charleston down 24-10, but try to climb back in at Baltimore with the ball, though. You're watching the SFL here on Twitch. Don't go anywhere. Nate Hall and Alden Bleeker in the booth with you for this game today. 2nd and 5 from the 33-yard line for Baltimore. Hands the ball off to Warren Murray and breaks out of a tackle, but gets dragged down at about the 36-yard line. Alden, that looked like a run that was going nowhere quick, but Warren Murray with just the absolute power to drag Robert Cherry for 3 more yards.
Yeah, and that's really the thing, right? I mean, even these plays that look like they're going to go nowhere end up going somewhere for Baltimore. And so, as explosive as they've been, they're still able to pick up little chunks here and there.
Back to throw, another wide open reception for Baltimore's offense as Ivory Irvin gets the reception up to the 45-yard line.
And the clock still moving for Baltimore. No timeouts used by Charleston. I almost wonder if they're anticipating a score by Baltimore, and that's why they're holding on to these timeouts here.
Charleston will get the ball first after the halftime break. Baltimore back to throw once again. Deep over the middle. There is a flag on the field, and that's going to be picked off. We'll have to see what the flag is about first, if it'll be a defensive or offensive holding. If it's offensive, it will be declined, and that pick will stand. Let's see, though. That is personal foul and clipping on the offense. That pick will stand, as that will be declined by the defense.
Oh my goodness, that is so big for Charleston. They needed a way to get the ball back. The clock is ticking. They're holding on to their timeouts in perhaps anticipation of giving up another score, but they have a chance to get another score back and maybe even go into the half only down by 1 score. That would be so big for Charleston.
That interception there made by the secondary for Charleston not to be overlooked either. That gave the ball back to this Charleston offense. Vince Johnson now back to throw deep to the left, and that is
Oh,
almost picked off as number 41 for Baltimore. Giovanni Bolt was in the path of that one. Reed on the target, but not to be. Pass deflection batted down.
not quite Hail Mary time, but we're seeing the most vertical plays in the playbook being busted out here, I would imagine, for the rest of this drive.
Ricky Thornton, the recipient of that last Charleston interception, thanks to, again, Justin Reside and Ron Haynes on the stats team for providing all stats related information for this game today. Is 2nd and 10 coming up now for Charleston. Deep over the
Oh,
left, over the middle, and that's
oh,
going to bounce around and be picked off by Baltimore and brought up to the 32-yard line. And that's going to be an absolute horrible turn of events for Charleston, as Elijah Warfield is the recipient of an absolute gift, as the
oh.
ball was tipped by Giovanni Bolt up in the air, bounced around a couple times, and lands in the absolute palms of Elijah Warfield.
Oh, what a nightmare for Charleston. They looked like they were finally going to get it up the field, but man, just tips off of one set of fingers and the old dirt ball drill comes into effect.
And a nice spin move this time by Warren Murray as he gets all the way up to the 23-yard line. They will go hurry up here for Baltimore, as it is a 2nd and 1 from the Charleston 23 after a nice 9-yard gain off the flats there for Warren Murray. And this one's going to be completed, and Baltimore will take a timeout after that first down reception by Mac Chima.
Oh man, okay, let's collectively catch our breath here. Okay, so Baltimore in great field position. Charleston, they really need an interception here because a field goal would not be as bad as a touchdown, but it would be bad for Charleston if they score again.
Baltimore back to throw, open on the left-hand side, and that's going to be completed. And another timeout taken by Baltimore, as that reception is made by Ivory Irvin for a gain of 6 yards.
Yeah, Baltimore seems to be fishing for a touchdown here. They're not content to just go for a field goal. Although I do imagine this last time out they're saving to set up a field goal.
Coming out in a heavy set this time is Baltimore. 27 seconds left until halftime, 2nd and 4. Hands the ball off to Warren Murray. A nice hole off to the right-hand side. A couple of spin moves, still running. Inside the 5, down to the 4. They will go hurry up now. Less than 15, down to 15 seconds left. And we'll see if they call a timeout. They will not. They hand the ball off again one more time. Warren Murray, shake and bake. Right-hand side, touchdown. Warren Murray, nice shake and bake move to avoid a couple of defenders and in for the score to increase their lead.
Wow, well, that looked like it was going to be the touchdown play last drive, just moving and shaking all the way towards the end zone was Warren Murray, but he does a great job there to just find the space and dive into the end zone, taking his defender with him.
And what a change of events now for Charleston. That looked like they were might have been cutting into the lead there before halftime, and now they're finding themselves down by 3 scores here right before the break, as this extra point attempt by Tarkington is up and through, making the score now 31-10 with 9 seconds left before the halftime break.
Oh man, Charleston going to get one more chance with the ball. You have to think this is Hail Mary time. I mean, I don't think we're going to see any Little Giants Fumbarooski shenanigans. They got to go for a Hail Mary here, right?
I would assume so, but we'll have to see how this kickoff goes to see if they get in range to even attempt a Hail Mary here, as they get this return up from about 5 yards deep in the end zone. They get the return up to about the 23-yard line. I'm not sure what kind of arm Kentez Johnson has, but we'll see what they come out. And now with 5 seconds left for the horn sounds here before the teams go in the locker room.
Well, and you see there just the sheer difference in yardage, almost triple for Baltimore the yardage that Charleston has put up, and just so much more in terms of time of possession.
And that pass will be completed over the middle to the receiver. Charleston will take a quick timeout with only 2 seconds left, and maybe they will be in range for one long Hail Mary attempt for Charleston.
And that really is going to be the story going into the half. I think is that Charleston, the amount of yards is symptomatic of the fact that they simply have not had the ball as much as they would like. You know, they've gotten some good stops, so now the next step is to hold on to the ball and convert third and fourth downs.
Well, this is not Hail Mary formation. We'll see what they do here on first attempt from the 35-yard line. 2 seconds left
I'll
until the
go
halftime
Shirley.
break.
I'll go Shirley.
They will hand the ball off to Swearingen. A spin move and right up the middle.
Oh.
Nice gain of about 14 yards. Had he broken one or two more tackles, he might still be running, but that is how we will bring an end to the first half of play here in Charleston with a pretty little run by Q Swearingen for a gain of 14 yards and the first down. And that will, again, bring an end to the first half of play with the score Baltimore 31, Charleston 10. You're watching the SFL here on Twitch. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. And as we get set for the kickoff here in the third quarter, quickly, Alden, what were some of the things you were looking for as, you know, from both teams as to how the score became 31-10 in favor of Baltimore?
Well, it's as we say, you know, the Baltimore offense has just been so explosive, and the Charleston, their defensive strategy has seemingly been stop the run and we'll make something happen with their secondary. And while they have gotten an interception with their secondary, I think really they have to adjust because Baltimore challenging their secondary is not working out the way they hoped. You know, the secondary is not snuffing out the passing game, and on top of that, for Baltimore, their rushing game is clicking too. So I think it's really just wake up time for Charleston.
First down throw for Charleston. Deep throw to the left side. Finds a completion up to the 46-yard line. And that's going to be Davius Reed with the reception for a big gain on the first play.
Well, speak of wake up time for the Charleston Predators. A great pitch and catch down the sideline, and they're across the 50. Don't look now, but they're moving.
We'll see if they can capitalize here on their first drive after the halftime break. First and 10 now from the 46-yard line, coming up in a weak eye formation with one wide out to the left. Hands the ball off to Keith Swearingen. Nice little shimmy shake off to the left side and gets a good gain of 7 on the play before he's brought down over there by Alvin Mack.
And Baltimore sending everyone seemingly in the secondary and the front line towards Swearingen there. I mean, my goodness.
Another weak eye formation set. We'll see if it's the same play again. It will be the same play. Hands the ball off to Swearingen. Another shimmy shake and a wide open area to run for Swearingen all the way down to the Baltimore's 18-yard line. And a nice run by Swearingen to get them inside the red zone.
And that has been such a bright spot for Charleston's offense is Keith Swearingen. You know, 59 yards on 12 attempts and has a little over 9 yards or has a little over 6 yards per reception. So he really has been one of their more reliable options, and hopefully if you're Charleston, that frees up the rest of your offense to now get clicking as well.
First and 10 now from the 18-yard line of Baltimore inside the red zone for one of their few times today. A nice throw over the middle by Johnson. Ooh. And finds his receiver for a 9-yard gain, as that is Christopher Ochoa with the reception. And a nice a little second and short coming up now, set up here on the next play.
Yeah, and in terms of yardage, Jack Wigmore and Kentez Johnson are very similar. So Kentez Johnson could still turn this game around yet.
And a handoff to Swearingen, breaks a couple of tackles, but still nowhere to go. They'll call it no gain on the play, as I believe that was, yep, it sure was, number 42, Frank Smith, and Alvin Mackin combining on that tackle. 3rd and 1 now coming up for Charleston. Big 3rd down if they want to try to convert and score a touchdown on this first drive of the second half. Hands the ball off to Swearingen right up the middle, breaks through a hole, and gets a gain of about 7 on the play, giving him forward progress up to the 4-yard line instead of got 1st and goal.
And it looked like he was going to get to the outside there and go all the way. Swearingen has really done a great job just using his agility, using his speed to create space for himself on this drive.
1st and goal from the 4. Heavy set, heavy I formation behind Johnson. Hands the ball off to Swearingen down to the 3. And it looked like he might have gotten 2 or 3 yards on the play, but they only give him 1 on that play.
You know, I always wonder with coaching philosophies, I always wonder if when you're this far down the field and in this situation, when you're this far behind, I almost wonder if this is 4 down territory.
We'll see what they do here on 2nd and goal if they get that far. Back to throw is Johnson over the middle. Nice pitch and catch and a touchdown for Christopher Ochoa. They don't have to worry about 4th down. They get the 6 on 2nd down for 6 points.
Well, and that is just a great drive all around by Charleston. 8 plays combined for 84 yards. And, you know, Baltimore, while they've been explosive, Charleston can play the opposite style where they just pick up yards in batches. And who knows, that could be the secret they need to turn things around.
As Brad Bretchick comes on to attempt an extra point once again to bring the score to within 14. They do have the score now within 2 touchdowns and a great first drive by Charleston to start this second half as that kick is up and through. And Charleston finds themselves down by 14. But as I stated, a nice drive to cap off a great starting drive after the halftime break.
Well, and the offense for Charleston has not been bad at all. It's just that they've been getting killed by turnovers. You know, 3 interceptions thus far have been thrown by Kentez Johnson, but he's also thrown 2 touchdowns. So if they can hold on to the ball, maybe they can keep stringing together these scoring drives. That would be quite the turnaround for Charleston, I would say.
As that return is brought up to about the 22-yard line, that is where Baltimore will begin their next possession. And we'll see what they can do now on their first go at it after the halftime break. See if they can answer what Charleston had on their first drive. They'll come out with a split back in the backfield, 3 wide. Wigmore back to throw, and a falling backwards reception over there off to the right by Daley Holder will gain 5 yards off to that side for 2nd and 5 coming up.
Yeah, and really this is where Charleston needs to start to get aggressive on defense. They need to start applying pressure both in the secondary and on the front line. This is their opportunity to turn things around for their offense.
Back to throw once again is Wigmore, wide open. Daley Holder once again buried his shoulder down, lowers it, and gets an extra couple of yards, bringing the ball out to the 38-yard line and a 1st down.
But man, as scrappy and as good as the defense for Charleston has been, Baltimore has been doing fantastically, both on the run and in the passing game, just finding space on the outside.
1st and 10, 38-yard line now for Baltimore. Wigmore back to throw, plenty of time, and gets the reception made to Maxima up to the 42-yard line for a gain of 4 over the middle.
And oh man, it's really you feel like Charleston doing a better job stopping the explosive play, but it almost feels like they've had to go into bend don't break mode to get there.
4 wide now with trips to the top of the screen for Baltimore. Warren Murray alone in the backfield, but throws the ball out, does Wigmore off to the right-hand side, and Lloyd Graham Jr., the recipient of that reception, off to the right before he goes out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
And you see again the bend don't break style being employed by Charleston. It does a good job limiting the explosive yardage, but by the time this pass is completed, they're way back in the zone.
Heavy I set formation for Baltimore on first down. Hands the ball off to Warren Murray, and that play is going nowhere quick. Charleston ready for that one, as that is John Stamengo coming up from his safety position to bring down Murray for only a gain of 1 yard on the play.
Yeah, and that's really something that Charleston have been doing well. You know, like we say, we keep giving them credit for their ability to blow up the run game and I think limit the run game.
And a deep throw over the middle. That was a chance for Charleston's defense to come away with a huge pick, but not to be. That is Sam Blotner in with the pass deflection. That pass was intended for Mac Chima, but it finds the hand, so to speak, of a bat away knockdown by Sam Blotner for a third down coming up.
And oh man, what an opportunity that would have been to come away with it.
Third down now for Baltimore. Nickel look down for Charleston's defense as that reception is made by Lloyd Grant Jr., but he's going to get tackled 2 yards shy of the first down marker, and we'll have to see what Baltimore does here. Kevin Brackett with a big stop before Lloyd Grant Jr. could get to the first down sticks. And Baltimore, they're in no man's land here. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to go for it, or I wouldn't be surprised if they try to pin Charleston deep with a punt. Either way.
Yeah, and that was a great tackle. I mean, it's a punt, first of all, and that was a great tackle. It looked like he was going to stretch his arms out like Michael Jordan at the end of Space Jam, but just a great hold there by the linebacker. Ooh.
This punt is away by Matty Coffins and doesn't get a coffin corner punt there, as that gets fair caught at the 12-yard line, and that is where Charleston will begin their next possession. Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for info about the league and its 2018s. All the places you can watch live games, plus links to apparel from Sector 6 and SFL mini helmets from 97 Sports Promotions. All the league records, team stats, player leaderboards, the rankings of the next class of the SFL talent, and so much more. simulationfl.net, your home for everything SFL. As that play goes nowhere quick, and a big 4-yard loss brings down Kentez Johnson, and that is Suron Yates to bring him down.
Yeah, and moving backwards is not what you need if you're Charleston. I mean, they've got to drop a run play or a pass play, but they got to do something.
And a screen pass out to Swearingen, spin move out to the 11-yard line, but a nice job of staying home there by the cornerback, Ben Stackenpaper, not allowing Swearingen to get past them for only a gain of a couple yards.
Yeah, it looked like one of the tight ends had an opportunity to make a block there for Charleston that either didn't go recognized or they were just too far past it.
3rd and 11 now for Charleston. Deep drop back. And that is going to be another sack for Baltimore's defense as Kentez Johnson goes down for a big loss. And Joe Duncan, who had a sack in last week's game over Seattle, comes away with yet another one today versus Charleston.
Yeah, good decision to hold on to that ball rather than try to throw it down the sideline and risk an interception on a wayward throw. But, oh, man, they're punting from next to the goalposts almost. This is going to be easily the best field position of the day for Baltimore.
Yeah, the back of the end zone for this punt for Charleston, as this punt is going to be returned from about the 40-yard line and returned up to the 35. And as you stated, Baltimore with very good field position to start this next possession. And you got to think, they're not going to need to move very far to get points off of this.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting from inside field goal position.
Wigmore will begin this next drive from the 35-yard line from Charleston. Split backs in the backfield on first down. Linebackers looking to blitz, perhaps. Back to throw is Wigmore. Off to the left side and finds receiver Urban. A nice gain of about 14 off to the left and a first down.
Well, and we're going to see here again, just this is one of those things that again, you know, you don't think about it a lot if the position is playing, doing their job well, but just a great job by his offensive line to set him up in the pocket, creating all kinds of time for him to set up that pass there.
Back to throws. Wigmore once again out of the I formation, gets the ball out to Warren Murray. And Warren Murray gets a good 7 yards off that right-hand side out of the backfield before he's brought down by number 22, Mark Martin. 2nd and 3 now coming up for Baltimore's offense. Heavy set now, split backs in the backfield. This is one of their plays that they like to usually run T-Roy Gaines out of. See if they hand the ball off to him here on 2nd and short. They will. Big hole right up the middle. T-Roy Gaines, a gain of about 5 or 6 yards, all the way up to about to 8 before he's tackled.
Well, and to go back to analyzing the dual back system that Baltimore employed one more time, you know, T-Roy Gaines, he never really gets those same explosive runs that Warren Murray does, but he's so reliable in those situations where you put the ball in his hands and just give him space to run it up the middle. He will do it very reliably for you.
Back to throw, Wigmore over the middle, and that's going to be received and caught at the 6-yard line by Ivory Irvin for a 3-yard gain. And if Charleston can come away with a goal line stand and only allow a 3-point attempt by Shark Tarkington, I would consider this a win at this point, as they come out now with a heavy eye set for the offense for Baltimore. 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line. Hands the ball off to Warren Murray. Ben move and tries to break out of a tackle of one of the defensive linemen, and doesn't get anywhere as Eric Kammer sits him down for only a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if we see another pass this drive, because I think Baltimore, as confident as they are, do realize that this Charleston secondary is very good. So Baltimore may or Charleston, well, yeah.
As you say that, they come out in an empty set in the backfield, throw over the middle, and that's going to be incomplete. That this time Eric Kammer dropped in the secondary back in coverage and knocks that one away, and brings up 4th down and a field goal attempt coming out for Tarkington.
Oh man, and yeah, I mean, Baltimore challenged the secondary yet again, and it was almost yet another goal line interception.
Tarkington is almost automatic from this distance, this one being about a 21-yard attempt. Really, he's pretty much automatic from any distance, but this one is pretty much a gimme, as this one is up and splits the uprights, and Baltimore takes a 34-17 lead late here in the 3rd quarter.
13 for 13 on the season for Shark Tarkington, and arguably one of the better kickers in the league right now. As you say, second in field goals made all time, and 2nd in field goals attempted all time, with a 97.6 career field goal percentage. He is one of the most reliable legs for a coach to lean on.
This return is brought up and made up to about the 26-yard line, and that is where Charleston will begin their next possession. The SFL has partnered with Laser to deliver digital SFL player trading cards to its players and viewers during live events on SFL Twitch. Viewers every 30 minutes will be issued cards, or you can buy SFL card packs through Laser's store. The new Season 19 packs will be available soon. Visit Laser, that's LAYZR.GG, and click the Join Alpha button to connect your Twitch account and begin collecting today. This handoff will go to Keith Swearingen, and he'll get just back to the line of scrimmage before he's tackled right there. That is, I believe, Yeah, that is
Ooh.
52 on the tackle there for the stop. Parker Shaw, the backup.
Yeah, and took a heavy hit there. I mean, oh man, that looked like he had space for a second, but that space just disappeared.
2nd and 10 now for Charleston. Back to throw, gets pressure in his face, and that's got to be rolled.
Oh,
That's got to be rolled incomplete. They called a fumble,
yeah, I'm
and
not sure.
Christopher Ochoa ends up getting called a fumble on him there, but it bounced off his hands before he had possession. And Baltimore takes possession on the play, picked up by it's been stacking paper, and
Yeah,
yeah,
very, very, very obvious challenge.
you got to think Jacob Clear was going to throw that red flag out there, and with good cause, as it looked like that just bounced off
I
of
mean,
Ochoa's hands.
yeah, I mean, that was an ugly flag football-esque pass there, but that certainly did not have time to establish reception and perform a football move. I'm not quite sure what Ref 62 saw there to call that a fumble in the first place.
Well, he'll get a chance now as they make the call on the play. The ruling on the field is a return. Charleston's not charged a timeout. They do get the call correct in the end, and the beauty of uh, the challenge rule comes into effect here as Charleston will retain possession.
Robot referees, they're coming.
As the 3rd and 10 comes up now. 3rd and 10, big third down for Charleston now as Quintez Johnson back to throw. Plenty of time, has run out of time, but that's going to be
Ooh.
way out of bounds and incomplete. Al Walker was all in the face of Quintez Johnson, and you got to think that had to do with why that call was incomplete off to the outside.
Yeah, I didn't quite see the number on the shirt, but man, that was I'm not quite sure if that person played some basketball perhaps in a previous life, because that was just some huge hops to even get one hand on that.
As that'll force Charleston to punt in this situation as a 4th and 10 upcoming, and the punt is away without any pressure. Ivory Urban with the return, and it'll bring it up to about the 42-yard line with 1 second left here in the third quarter.
Yeah, and oh man, it's really Baltimore's game to lose now. You know, it's as SFL Commissioner Cam Irvine said last week, that Baltimore sometimes seem like they're going through the motions. That really has not been the case today. They have been on top of things and continuing to roll.
Back to throw is Wigmore deep over the middle. That is going to be bobbled up and around for about 3 or 4 different times by the secondary, and it goes incomplete. That is Bob Saget, the cornerback, backup cornerback, with the incompletion.
No relation, I believe, but that ball tipped up and into their faces. Just so unfortunate that they couldn't bring it in.
As that will bring an end to the third quarter of play. Baltimore still up 34-17. Charleston will try to make a comeback here in the fourth quarter of play. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the SFL here on Twitch. Nate Hall alongside Alden Bleeker here from Charleston, South Carolina. Baltimore up 34-17. And Baltimore looking to add more points to their total. Let's have a 2nd and 10 now from the 42-yard line. Hands the ball off to D-Roy Gaines. It gets absolutely hammered right there after a 5-yard gain. Pops up after that nasty hit. Good thing he did, because that looked really nasty off that play.
Yeah, that was oh boy, we've seen a few people a little slow to get up. I mean, just have to be grateful that there's been no injury so far, because these guys are going at each other hard.
Thomas Matthews with the nasty hit on that last one. As Whitmore will be back to throw on that one. That's going to be pass deflected, intended for Ivory Urban, but bounced off the hands of one of the defenders and incomplete, bringing up 4th down.
And it's yet another big stop, and yet another opportunity perhaps for Charleston to do something here. Look, it is effectively a 3-score game, but it's a 3-score game at the start of the fourth. You know, Charleston can string some things together here potentially.
Punt is away. This return will be from about the 10-yard line, brought up to about the 16. And that'll be where Charleston will bring up their next possession. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection. State-of-the-art technology and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. Kentez Johnson back to throw right over the middle, and that's going to be taken away by the secondary. That is number 42 of Baltimore. That is Frank Smith with the takeaway.
Oh man, that is so unfortunate for Charleston. That is the fourth interception thrown by Kentez Johnson today. Oh man, and that has really been killing them today as Charleston. They are doing things that look good for them on offense, and then it's just an unfortunate, a wayward pass that blows things up for them.
Looked like he was looking for Christopher Ochoa over the middle, and just Frank Smith was playing center field there. Is back to throw is Wigmore, and a nice defensive play on the other side made by number 22, Mark Martin, and takes the ball right back and gives it right back to Charleston's offense.
Wow, and he just outruns the route, and he goes up and grabs it in the end zone. I mean, my goodness, talk about putting the defense on your back.
This time that was intended for Mac Chima, and Mark Martin just went up and got that one and took that one back away, giving it right back to Charleston's offense, and handing the ball off this time on first down is to Keith Swearingen. Swearingen goes down for a loss of 2 yards on that play. Saron Yates with a tackle for loss.
Oh my goodness, Charleston just giving themselves yet another chance at life, it almost feels like, in this game.
You just hoped if you're a Charleston fan, you hope they just don't squander it in this situation, as they have a 2nd and 12 now at the 18-yard line. Weak eye formation with one wide out. Gets the pass out to Swearingen off to the flats, but nowhere to go. Only a 1-yard gain on that play. Elijah Warfield there with the tackle.
Man, and Baltimore has really sent pressure high up into the play this entire game, and you see it happening yet again there. I almost think Charleston have to challenge the Baltimore secondary, even though they've given up 4 interceptions. I almost feel like that's something you have to do, is start moving vertically, because the pressure at the top is just making everything collapse here.
They have trips to the bottom of the formation, so they will air it out. One-handed catch to the left-hand side. That is Davius Reed with a beautiful one-handed catch to give him a first down past the 40-yard line.
Wow, and what a grab. Are you kidding me? He beats double coverage. First of all, I feel like that should be called out. And then he just goes up and catches it in the crook of one elbow. Are you kidding me, Christopher Ochoa?
He is not kidding you, Alden. He went and caught it with one hand, making every other wide receiver look silly on that one. Now a handoff made to Keith Swearingen, and gets a nice gain off of tackle to the left side, getting another first down gain of about 14 yards on that play.
Well, this is a different team, it almost feels like. They are showing confidence. They are showing resilience. They are showing creativity. They've turned things around in the space of 2 plays, it feels like.
A little over 8 minutes left to go in this one. First and 10 from the Baltimore 44-yard line. 3 wide this time. Back to throw is Johnson over to the middle, but that's going to be taken away by Baltimore's defense. That is Marvin Himes with the interception, and whatever momentum Charleston might have had on that drive is killed and snuffed out by that stifling defense by Baltimore, and it's taken right back.
Oh man, shades of Aussie rules football there, just pushing off of the back of the receiver there to get up into the air. Oh man, just goes up over him. The 5th interception.
Yeah, absolutely. A 5th interception by Kentez Johnson, as that one is tipped up in the air and incomplete. And I was about to say, as that was tipped in the air by Kevin Brackett, that with a little over 8 minutes left, you have to be thinking at this point they're just going to go into clock bleeding mode and try to just run this clock, as much of this clock down
Yeah,
as possible with T-Roy Gaines and Warren Murray.
yeah, it's too soon to say this is over because especially if this drive stalls or they get a sudden turnover, but oh man, it really feels like Baltimore can just, even if Charleston score, it really feels like they can just control the clock.
There is a flag on the play. I didn't see if there was an offsides there, but they do hand the ball off to T-Roy Gaines right at the middle for a nice 11-yard gain. Let's see here. It was an offsides penalty, so that play will be that penalty will be declined as number 69 John Lawley jumps offsides, and it is declined, and it will be a first down for T-Roy Gaines. First and 10 now for Baltimore from their own 46-yard line. Back to throw is Baltimore, or is Wigmore, and finds the receiver off that left-hand side all the way up to the 41-yard line. That is going to be Ivory Irvin with the reception and another first down.
Yeah, and Baltimore, like we said earlier in this game, that Rolling Stone mentality, they're not content to just hold on to a 2-score lead. They want to add on to it. They want to add padding. They want to have the ability. They want to have the ability to come away with a huge win without it coming down to the wire.
Handoff made to Warren Murray, breaks the tackle, another spin move all the way down to about the 21-yard line before he's tackled, and bring up another first down for their offense. Warren Murray seems like he's getting stronger as this game progresses. You saw him break a tackle. He had a spin move right there, getting away from Jacob Clear on that play, as well as another defender, and goes all the way down to almost the 20-yard line.
Oh man, and it is crunch time for Charleston. I mean, they've gotten those interceptions, they've gotten those turnovers. They need another one here.
First and 10 from the 23. Back to throw is Wigmore deep over to the left side. That's going to be caught, and Lloyd Graham Jr. brings it in for 6 more points. He gets behind the defense, almost makes it look easy. He had a step on Jacob Clear on that go pattern off that left side and just waltzed right into the end zone for 6 points.
Yeah, and oh man, he blows through the coverage. He just finds the space and blows through it. That has been the story of Baltimore all day long.
As Shark Tarkington comes on now for his, I believe this will be his 5th extra point attempt of the ball game. The snap is down, the kick is up and splits the uprights and good, and that'll extend the lead for Baltimore up to 41-17 now. And with about 6.5 minutes left in this one, this may seem like it may be out of reach for Charleston, but anything can happen here in the SFL.
Yeah, I mean, you have to come into it with that any given Sunday mentality. I mean, Baltimore, a very tough team, as we've seen, obviously, but by that same token, you've got to be tough too. You know, your season is not over until it's over, and your games are not over until they're over.
As that kickoff is returned to the 23-yard line, we'll see what Charleston's offense can do from that point when they start their next possession. The SFL produces over 400 live events each year, but don't miss community content creators and their creations. Catch SFL Nights with AJ Stryker, Say It With Your Chest, around the SFL, and more, covering Season 19 and beyond. To check out archived versions of community shows, visit simulationfl.net and click the logo of your favorite form of SFL entertainment on our homepage. As they hand this one off to Keith Swearingen, and Swearingen with that inside spin move only gets a gain of 1 on the play.
Number 56, credited with the tackle.
And Alden, I feel like if he would have continued running to the outside, he might still be running at that point, but instead he chose to run to the inside, bringing up 2nd and 9.
Yeah, that's really been the space that's been there for both of these teams as the outside. I'm surprised Charleston haven't opted for more swing plays here.
As that play is thrown off to the right, it looked like one of the defenders for Baltimore tried to undercut that and take that ball away, but the pass gets to the hands of Davius Reed, and Davius Reed gets a nice, excuse me, that's Saren Storm. Saren Storm with the reception off that right-hand side for a first down.
Yeah, Kentez Johnson. I mean, you have to feel like his heart was in his stomach there, as just another jump at that ball. He's already given up 5 interceptions. You know, you have to have some confidence that you're not going to give up 6, but whew, that was a close call.
I was going to say, that looked like that might have been Marvin Hines creeping up underneath that pattern and just outstretch his arms on that play as they hand the ball off this time to Keith Swearingen, and Swearingen goes down for a loss of 1 on the play, bringing up a 2nd and long.
Yeah, and oh man, it's just like we say, you know, there's a limited window for Charleston to get back into this game, and you know, no matter how many opportunities they have, they've eventually got to start converting on them.
2nd and 11 from the 43-yard line. Back to throw is Johnson. Pump fakes. Lets this one go and finds Davius Reed off that left side, but they're going to call it incomplete as he was out of bounds on that reception. And looked like that might have been Elijah Warfield trying to undercut that throw had he had it outstretched arms a little bit further.
Yeah, extremely aggressive play by Baltimore on this drive here. Maybe that was an adjustment they made, just trying to get the ball back at any cost.
Johnson back to throw on 3rd and 11 off to the right, but that's going to be short of the first down. Davius Reed gets to the midfield stripe, but that's going to be 3 yards shy of the first down. With 5 minutes left, you got to think they're going to go for it here.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that, you know, if you don't do something here, it almost feels like you're conceding that this game is lost. But while they're punting here.
Yeah, they will punt it away and try to pin Baltimore deep. Punter Jared Ruffhead on the punt here, with no pressure on that punt, gets it away, and fair caught by Ivory Irvin at the 16-yard line, and Baltimore on their next possession, I would assume, will try to just bleed as much of this clock away as they can.
Yeah, and with a couple first downs, I think this is maybe even manageable enough that they could just end the game here. It'll be very close. I'm not quite sure on the math.
As that'll be T-Roy Gaines with the handoff. He'll get right up the middle for a gain of 5 yards on the play before he's tackled, get up to the 22-yard line. And yeah, they're going to go into a heavy set now. Is Baltimore. They're going to go. They're going to run Charleston's defense tired, I think, with this formation, trying to hand the ball off to their halfbacks here. 2nd and 5 now from the 22-yard line. Snaps it with 5 on the play clock. Hands the ball off to T-Roy Gaines. Another 3 yards up the middle this time, following his offensive lineman, and a 3rd and 2 coming up now for the offense.
Yeah, and oh man, I mean Baltimore in a position of command, sure, but they really need this first down here if they're going to try to end things on this drive.
Third and 2 from the 25-yard line. Play clock ticking down now, underneath 10 seconds.
Oh, they might be going for
Yeah, they do hand the ball off to Warren Murray. Another couple of spin moves. He has an opening in the right-hand side. He's off to the races, and he can't beat out Jacob Clear down there at the 43-yard line. But another big gain by Warren Murray, and that should seal the deal all the way down to Charleston side of the field, inside the 50-yard line.
I mean, my goodness, going from trying to work the hard count to get the next down for free to just exploding down the sideline past the 50. I mean, as you say, Baltimore is certainly going to be able to get past the 2-minute warning. You almost wonder if this is going to be the last drive of the game.
First and 10 now from the 43-yard line for Baltimore. A heavy set formation with split backs in the backfield. Hands the ball off to T. Roy Gaines. A nice opening off to that right-hand side of the off. I'm sorry, that is going to be number 44. They have their backups in now. That's backup halfback Damon Morehouse on the handoff, and he will rumble for a nice 7-yard gain before he's tackled.
Yeah, I think that's probably the correct decision. You know, we've seen a lot of really hard hits in this game, so no reason to risk injury of your biggest assets.
And we've reached a 2-minute warning here in Charleston, South Carolina. Baltimore Vultures trying to close out the last little bit of this ball game. Up big over Charleston, 41-17. You're watching the SFL here on Twitch. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Nate Hall alongside Alden Bleeker, Justin Reeside, and Ron Haynes on stats. Thank you, gentlemen, for your assistance today on the stats team, as that'll be Damon Morehouse on the handoff, and he'll get another couple of yards before he's tackled, bring up a 3rd and 1, and Charleston will use their first timeout.
Yeah, and oh man, they could maybe get a stop here. It is increasingly unlikely, and the win percentage for Baltimore going up by the minute or by the second, but they have a chance. They have a chance.
And that handoff is made, and that'll go nowhere on that run, as that tackle is made by Eric Hammer, and no gain on the play by Damon Morehouse, and that'll bring up 4th down. Tarkington is going to come out to try to attempt a 50-plus yard field goal.
This would be a heck of a field goal to continue his perfect streak.
They will come on. Tarkington on to attempt a 50-yard attempt. It looks like right at the 40-yard line is where they'll place the ball at. Kick, the spot is down, the kick is up, and right down the middle for Tarkington, no problem. And it is good, bringing the score to Baltimore 44, Charleston 17. Tarkington continuing his impressive kicking streak.
14 for 14 on the season. I mean, it literally does not get any better than that, because he is perfect on the year.
In this game alone, he is 3 for 3 with that one from 50 yards out to add on to his total. Having a good game in itself to add on to all the other offensive things they've done in today's game as well. As that return is made right up the left side, by Saren Storm, up to about the 24-yard line, and Charleston's offense will get one crack at it. And a reminder that tomorrow on Next Level Sports, coverage of the SFL continues with a pair of Pacific rivals attempting to get out of the division cellar when Seattle hosts Portland. Kickoff is at 8:45 p.m. Eastern, with live look-ins on a pair of 2-2 teams, Queen City and Tulsa. For a channel guide and more info about NXT, visit NLSE.com. As that reception is made at the 36-yard line, not without paying the price over the middle, but made nonetheless for a 1st down, and they'll go hurry up now. Johnson over the middle, and that one's going to be bobbled and tipped away, incomplete. That one's going to be Marvin Himes with the pass deflection, bringing up 2nd down.
Yeah, and 4-down territory all the way for Charleston. I think we have to agree. It's looking increasingly unlikely that they're going to make 3 scores, but they have got to push and push hard.
1:31 left in this one. Back to throw is Johnson, deep over the middle, and that's going to be incomplete. It was in the hands of Saren Storm, but he couldn't hold on to it. And it looked like that hit that was made by Elijah Warfield at the same time as that ball got there might have caused, actually that was Felix Maryland on that hit, that might have caused that ball to go hit the dirt.
Yeah,
nonetheless,
drive's not over. It's 4-down territory for Charleston. As we said, I would be incredibly surprised if they punted here.
3rd and 10 now from the 36-yard line for Charleston. From the 30 for Kentez Johnson in under center. Trips to the top of the screen. He will throw it off to the right-hand side, bobbled up in the air and incomplete. Davius Reed couldn't hang on to it. I'm sorry, that was Christopher Ochoa who couldn't hang on to it, and it falls incomplete in 4th down.
Yeah, and really this looking like one of the better defensive drives here by Baltimore. And what a time for it to come.
4th and 10 with one last crack at it now for Charleston on offense. Back to throw. And off to the left for his receiver. Wide open. That's Davius Reed down the 10. 5. Touchdown. Davius Reed got behind the defense. He beat Elijah Warfield on that go pattern off to that left-hand side. And he was off to the races for 6 more points.
Well, it's still, it would be one of the most miraculous comebacks in the league, but he does a great job, just burns the route here, and he is in so much space, so much free space in front of him that there's nothing but green grass, and that is a great play all around by Charleston. They're gonna have to go for the onside kick here, but this game ain't over yet.
Not over until the fat lady sings, so to speak, and I'm not. I don't have any fat ladies here, so I can't sing yet.
I was just gonna say I think the fat lady might be doing her vocal warm-ups, but we'll have to see.
As that kick by Brad Bretchett is up and through, and with 1:16 left in this ball game, Baltimore still up 44-24, but an onside kick oncoming by Charleston. We'll see what they can do here with this attempt. Brad Bretchett has the ball on the tee, and this kick is away for the onside. Bobbled up in the air, and Charleston gets the ball back. That return man for Baltimore couldn't hold on to it. He bounced that one right up in the air, and unfortunately for Baltimore, and very fortunate for Charleston, they will get the ball back and have one more crack at it.
Well, somewhere in the world there is a high school geometry teacher that is very impressed by what their student just did, because they found the exact right angle they needed there.
Johnson back to throw from the gun, deep over the right-hand side. That's going to be caught before he goes out of bounds and incomplete. That is Saren Storm with the reception, and that's going to be a 1st down. Let's take a look at some of the numbers now for Johnson, over 300 yards.
Yeah, I mean, you look at really what a complete performance he has had. On 33 attempts, over 300 yards, 10 yards per attempt, and yeah, he's thrown the 5 interceptions that's dragged down his quarterback rating, but he's thrown 3 touchdowns, so. It's just a case, I think, of Baltimore secondary really showing up to play here.
Charleston now with 3 wide. Johnson under center on 1st and 10 from the Baltimore 45-yard line. Plenty of time to throw over the middle. That's receiver. That is Davius Reed once again, and that's going to be up to the 33. They'll go no huddle here. Sorry, that was actually, yeah, that's Dusty Rourke, the tight end, on the reception. And that is going to be thrown over to the right, and that is a diving attempt made off that right-hand side and completed for a 1st down inside the 20.
Yeah, and Christopher Ochoa, yet again, we saw that amazing one-handed catch earlier in the game, and does another where he just goes up and makes his man look silly there.
52 seconds left. We saw Charleston take their last timeout just now, so they'll be in a hurry up if they stay in bounds the rest of the way. Johnson under center with 3 wide once again. Baltimore in the nickel. 1st and 10 from the 11. Thrown over to the left-hand side. That's going to be intercepted and taken away by Baltimore's defense. And that will seal the deal as Baltimore's defensive back, Enzo Bolt, comes away with the game-ending interception.
Yeah, and man, that has really just been one of the stories of this game. Kentez Johnson, that is now his That is now his 6th interception. And man, those turnovers just killed Charleston. They were able to move and able to score when they had the ball in their hands, but just a very inopportune turnover is costing them this game here today.
As we take a look at Baltimore and just how well they played all around, Whitmore has thrown for 280 yards now, and Warren Murray has run for over 170 yards on the ground, as they'll just need to take one more snap here on offense, to take one more knee to close out this deal, and Baltimore will continue their undefeated season. And the last 5 seconds will tick away here, and that'll do it here from Charleston. That'll make the score Baltimore 44, Charleston 24. And Alden, as you take a look at some of the stats and some of the highlights that'll come up here, and you take a look back at this game overall, just what was some of your thoughts and what was some of the things that made this game the way it was today?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I believe it was Ron Haynes, who we were having a discussion with our statisticians prior to this game, who asked something to the effect of, how have Baltimore been this good for this long? And I think we saw today a part of that. Really, Jack Wigmore was very similar in numbers to Kentez Johnson, as were Warren Murray and T.R. Gaines, comparable to Q Swearingen. And it's just that extra bit of drive, that extra gear that Baltimore has. As I was saying throughout this game, sort of the Rolling Stone gathers no moss mentality. They're not satisfied to win by 1 scores, 2 scores. They're going to run you up for 3, 4, 5 scores. And that sort of that killer instinct, I think, really was the difference today. And we're going to see even more of it throughout this season. Really, to borrow a phrase, the mentality monsters in Baltimore showed up in full effect here today.
And those 6 interceptions thrown by Kentez Johnson certainly wasn't any help to Charleston's offense as well. Johnson did have a good game throwing through the air, 373 all told, with a little over 59% completion rate. But again, those 6 interceptions that he had thrown, not a good thing when you're trying to win ball games, for sure. Q Swearingen on the ground, over 100 yards on the ground, all told, 103 to be exact. So he had himself a good game also.
Yeah, I believe it was you, partner, who, as we were discussing Baltimore's long-term success, I believe it was you who called Dr. Thomas Paterni a bit of a mad scientist. And to quote one of my all-time favorite UFC fighters, everyone calls it crazy until it works. They Baltimore have found something that works, and they're gonna ride it for as long as it's successful, I would imagine.
Well, they will continue to ride it on a 6-game winning streak. They are undefeated through 6 weeks. As you take a look, the player of the game, Warren Murray, 16 attempts, 169 yards, and 2 scores. Well, for myself, Nate Hall, and Alton Bleeker, my partner in crime today, and Justin Reside, and Ron Haynes in the stats truck, and Cameron Irvine producing back at the SFL studios, we thank you for joining us. Don't go anywhere. More SFL action coming up later on this evening. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your night.